and destroy your relationship or marriage, watch this video to the end. There are 3 circles that destroys your relationship very fast. And number 2 is the most critical one. Number 1, avoidance, which is the silent killer. Avoidance happens when you or your partner start dodging important conversations, conflict, or emotional need because it's easier to keep the peace. Instead of complaining and telling your partner what you are not comfortable about in the relationship, you begin to say things like, I'm fine, it is okay. But the issue with this is it creates resentment in your heart towards your partner over time. The conflict you are trying to avoid now will become a bigger issue tomorrow. And that is why it is so important that you talk about everything you are not comfortable with. If something is bothering you, say it, because that is how your partner will grow. When you don't say things that are bothering you, when you don't say things that your partner is doing to you that you are not comfortable with, they will repeat it over again. And what happens is over time, you begin to lose interest in your partner because they are not doing what they are supposed to do to you. And why do people avoid? 1, fear of conflict. You don't want to fight with your partner. You don't want to have an issue with your partner. But those issues you are trying to avoid now will become bigger issue tomorrow. Another thing that makes people avoid is fear of rejection. If you want your partner to always say yes to you, you don't want to get a no, you don't want to feel like a bad person, those things will build resentment in you. So it is better you start expressing yourself now. And another thing that can cause you to avoid consistently is childhood trauma. So if you grew up in a family whereby speaking up, get you punished. So when you meet your partner, you might not want to speak up because you are afraid of getting punished. But I have a solution for you. And that is private therapy. All right? Talk to a counselor. Talk to a coach that can help you get better. There are some issues that you need to revisit that are prompting whatever you are doing now. Another thing that causes you to avoid is low self-worth. Right? You are scared that if you complain to your partner, they might leave you. But the truth is, true love will not live at the face of correction. All right? It takes the correction and it makes you better. How do you break out from this circle if you're in the avoidance circle? 1, start using the word I feel in your statement. Start telling your partner, oh, I feel I'm not heard enough. I feel you are not talking to me, and let us talk about it. And over time, you begin to realize that most of the problem in your relationship is just communication. Don't wait for things to explode before you start talking. The moment you start comparing things together before you talk, at the end of the day, you will not be able to solve the issue easily. And learn to sit in discomfort. It is okay. That is where your relationship will grow. Learn to fight properly. Learn to have little arguments with your partner, because without those arguments, without those little fights, you will not be happy, and your partner will not be happy, and there will never be growth in your relationship. Avoiding hard conversations now only creates other situations later. So number 2, blame, which is the defensive loop. Blame turns every disagreement into a battle of who is right, rather than a search for understanding. And blame will never make your partner change. It will only make them defensive and aggressive. So if you always tell your partner, oh, you caused this is your fault, you caused this problem, if you didn't do this, I won't do that, it will never make your partner change. It will only create an emotional war zone where 2 of you are only fighting for power instead of peace. And blame also destroys emotional safety. And that is why your partner is no longer talking to you about their issues. Because when they had issues, you begin to blame them. For example, you advise your man not to invest in a business, but he went ahead to invest in that business and he lost all his money. Now he's down, he's crying. That is not the best time to blame him. That is not the best time for you to say you are right and he's wrong. This is the time to nurture him. This is time to embrace him and make him feel safe. This is time to look for solution and not correction. And when you do this, when you correct your partner when they are down, they will not listen to you. And next time when they have any issue, they will not communicate with you. And that is the same reason why your woman is not telling you things. Because sometimes your woman just wants to be heard. When she went through a situation and she's the cause of it, you are not supposed to blame her instantly. As a man, listen to your woman. Sometimes she just needs you to listen to her and not even look for solution. All right? And blaming also turns lovers to enemies. If you are the type of person that always criticizes your partner, you always have an issue with your partner, they will become your enemy, because you and your partner are not competitors. You don't need to compete for who is powerful or who is right or who is wrong. You are in the same team. You are there to support each other. Your partner should not be fighting the world and be fighting at home. If the world is criticizing your partner, you should be the one to encourage them, and then you can correct them later. And how do you break free from the blame circle? Number 1, instead of using the word "you hurt me," start using the word "I feel bad about this." Instead of telling your partner you are the problem, start saying "this hurts me." And this will create the emotional safety, and this will not make them defensive. Because when you shift blame, what happens is your partner automatically switches to defensive mode. And then you need to understand that it is not you versus your partner. It is you and your partner versus the problem. And this is how you can move out of the blame circle. And then if you are struggling with this circle, if you're always blaming your partner and then you don't know how to control it, that is where booking a session with a counselor comes in. That is where, assessing yourself comes in. And then you can book a session with me by sending me a DM. Just type "private session." I will attend to you. And in fact, you and your partner can book this session so that you figure out the problem. Because sometimes you don't know the problem, you can't figure out the problem because you are the problem. So listen, blame creates distance. Vulnerability builds connection. So number 3, withdrawal, which is the emotional divorce. So withdrawal happens when you or your partner, checks out emotionally. You stop caring, you stop texting, you stop trying to fix things. Because you think, what is the point? Nothing changes. You shut down not just verbally, you shut down emotionally. And how do you know your partner is already withdrawing from you, is already in that withdrawal circle? Number 1, they stop texting. They stop trying to fix things. Sometimes when your partner is not talking, it is not peace. It is silence or withdrawal. And that is why you need to pay attention to your partner. You need to know what you are making them feel at the moment. If your partner is no longer arguing with you, they are always saying yes to everything you do, it might be a sign of withdrawal. They no longer make effort to fix things. In fact, you must start feeling like a roommate with your partner or with your husband. And then you need to do some things very fast in order not to lose your partner or lose the love you have for them. And what are the things you need to do if you want to break out of this circle? Number 1, do regular emotional check-in. All right. Ask your partner, how have I been making you feel of recent? Ask them genuine questions and be intentional about it. And when your partner is telling you things that you are doing that they don't like, don't complain. Don't try to be defensive, because that will make them stop talking. And that is where silent treatment creeps in. They build curiosity about your partner. Some of you stop trying to make effort. The moment you get into that marriage, you think you've arrived. You have not arrived. Relationship is a constant effort, and for you to date again, you have to be intentional about your partner. You have to be curious about what makes them happy, what next you need to do. Another way to break out of the withdrawal circle is by considering couples counseling or mentorship before it is too late. Sometimes your problem is not so big. Your relationship can still get better. But if you don't seek professional help, if you're talking to family and friends, they will cause more damage in that relationship. And then if you're looking at breaking out of any of this circle, which is the withdrawal, avoidance, or the blame, and then you are struggling to build a very sustainable relationship, just send me a DM and type private session. All right, I will tell you what you need to do. It is a paid session, but it is a session that can change your marriage or relationship for good. And let me know in the comment section, which circle are you currently in? Are you in the avoidance circle, or the blame, or the withdrawal?